Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be sharing with you my experience with the Oukitel Mix 2, which happens to have the same exact design as the Vernee Mix 2, and both have the Xiaomi Mix 2 design except with an 18:9 display. Inside the box you will find the same things as you would on the Vernee Mix 2, the phone, the European power brick that outputs 5 volts to 2 amps for some quick charging. You get a micro USB cable for charging in 2018, how about that? This will no doubt be a deal breaker for the majority, but if you can live with that, the phone has some slight improvements over the Vernee Mix 2. So let's get right into it. Taking a closer look, the phone has a case on already. It also comes with a pre-installed screen protector on both the front and back, since the back is glass as well. But me being me, I removed them, but I recommend you keep them on. The phone feels very heavy and is quite thick. The sides also appear to be made out of glass with a reflective look. They are rounded and feel very smooth to the touch. All the ports, volume and power button remain in the exact spot as on the Vernee Mix 2. The headphone jack is on the top of the phone in the same tray slot on the left side that holds 2 nano SIMs or 1 nano SIM and an SD card. Oukitel claims to hold up to a 256GB SD card. I don't have a card that big, so I can't prove that otherwise. The single firing mono speaker rests underneath the right side grill, which is a bit louder than the speakers on the Vernee Mix 2. The Oukitel Mix 2 has a 5.99 inch 2160 by 1080p 18:9 display, which I have grown to love. It makes it easier to handle the phone one-handed with this narrow design. The screen gets brighter than on the Vernee Mix 2 when you don't have auto brightness enabled. The viewing angles are also good. On YouTube you will get black bars on most YouTube videos, but you can pinch to zoom in to fill up the display. And as we go along the year, there is more and more videos shot in the 2:1 aspect ratio. Netflix original shows has its own fair share of 18:9 videos as well. In the settings, you can tune the display with the Mirror Vision application. There are presets to choose from, or you can calibrate your own when choosing user mode. You can adjust things like the contrast, saturation, and sharpness, and much more. An annoying issue that I've encountered is that the phone display randomly turns off. Like if I'm watching a video, the display randomly goes black. It has done it 4 times already on my unit, and it can range from 1 to 3 minutes. So hopefully they push out a software update that will fix this. Powering the phone is a Helio P25 octa-core processor clocked in at 2.39 GHz, coupled with 6GB of RAM, which gives you smooth performance for the most part. The phone has lagged a couple of times, but nothing too serious. Gaming on here is great, especially with the games that use up the entire display. You can see more of what's going on, and for example, Bloons Tower Defense, you got more of a gap between the monkeys to choose from. It's been an enjoyable experience with most of the games that I played. And I have not encountered any hitting issues at all after playing for 40 minutes, so that is really good. The fingerprint reader is located on the back of the phone, and this one is one of the fastest fingerprint readers I have seen on a budget smartphone that I have reviewed. This is faster than the Vernee Mix 2, as you can see in the quick demonstration here. The fingerprint reader is also faster than the elephone S8 as shown here. I don't know how important this is to you, but Oukitel is fast in that regard. So the Oukitel Mix 2 has more features than the Vernee Mix 2, but it still lacks the double tap to wake. You can flip the back and recent navigation buttons if you want. You got a couple of other gestures to choose from. There are gestures you can do for silencing and picking up calls. There's also the 3-finger swipe down to take a screenshot and 3-finger slide up to jump into the camera. But the double press the power button to jump into the camera option is not there, so it will require both of your hands to launch the camera, or you can just launch it from the lock screen. You can also toggle on some gestures, which will allow you to draw on the display when it's turned off to trigger certain applications. You can slide down to open the camera, but we'll still need to unlock it using the fingerprint reader. There are other gestures like drawing a O to jump into YouTube or drawing W to go to the settings. The animation is quite slow and it doesn't always work, so I haven't been using it. So an awesome feature that I think a lot of larger phones should implement is the one-handed mode, where you can swipe across the navigation bar starting from the left side to minimize the screen into the corner, which can be switched to be on the left side or the right side depending on what hand you're going to be holding it with. And I think that this will be a very helpful feature for the majority. What's powering this is a 4080 mAh battery. I have been getting around 5.5 hours to 7 hours of on-screen time on a single charge. Even though it's smaller than the Vernee Mix 2, I got an extra hour more on moderate usage, and it lasted me 2 days with Wi-Fi on all the time. And I had it turned on for a little over 30 hours, so the battery life is splendid on this one. I timed this off camera and it takes 2 hours to get a complete charge. It goes from 0 to 59% in 1 hour and takes 30 minutes more to get to 86% and then an additional 30 minutes to go to 100%. The cellular connectivity on the Oukitel Mix 2 is a bit stronger than on the Vernee Mix 2. The phone can get 2G on T-Mobile network in the US and stay strong for a few minutes to be able to send and receive text, where the Vernee couldn't stay on long enough for that. I'm not able to place calls though or receive calls. Below in the description is the network band that this phone is compatible with. Now changing gears, on the chin of the phone is the front 8 megapixel camera with an f2.2 aperture and what appears to be a front flash, but was not implemented in the camera app. Maybe it will be activated with the software update, but I'm not familiar with how they go about their software updates or if they even have any. In the settings I couldn't find any software update function because it is its own app. Flipping the phone over, on the back rests the same dual camera setup as on the Vernee Mix 2 with the secondary one not working. The main rear camera houses a 60 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 aperture that captures some very nice pictures. You can switch between modes by swiping right on the screen or clicking on the icons. You got the main photo mode and filters if you slide right on the screen. It has face beauty and this one doesn't give you a pinkish glow that the Vernee Mix 2 had. Following that is the blur effect, which is supposed to provide you with the bokeh effect, but since the secondary camera doesn't work, what it does is it gives you a circle that it blurs around. You can resize that circle and move it around by clicking on the part you want it to focus on. You also got an option to shoot in monochromatic panorama or in pro mode, where you can manually adjust things to your liking. Now before going over to the video quality, let's take a look at a few pictures that I took on this with HDR and HDR off, as well as a few comparison pictures against the Vernee Mix 2. The Oukitel Mix 2 can record up to 4K at 25 frames per second, but it's not that great compared to other 4K videos that you can get on other higher end smartphones that you can get on the OnePlus 5T and so on. There is no optical nor electronic image stabilization, so your videos will look shaky when running or even walking around. You can see a quick sample here. A bad thing is that the frames drop to 15.6 frames per second when you're recording low light and there's a lot of noise. So yeah, the 4K video recording is not so good. But you still got the 1080p at 30 frames per second, which looks a bit smoother than the 4K video does. So with that, I end my review of the Oukitel Mix 2. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. The link to the phone is below in the description if you want to go ahead and check it out. So thank you guys for watching and I'll talk to you on the next video.